Hi everybody, this is Denise with PurplePaperParadise.com, and today is our August 2011 Make the Cut video. And today I'm going to show you how to make this card here. Now you've seen me make shaped cards before, but what's different about this one, and I'm going to zoom in here, is if you can see these little dashes right here, those are score marks using the new dashed line feature as well as the thin path feature in Make the Cut version 3.3.3. So let's go ahead and get started here. Now, that little boy image was actually from a Lettering Delights set called Weather Boy. And if you notice up here, there is a new icon that has the word art in it. And this is one of the new features as well from Lettering Delights and Make the Cut, is that now all of your Lettering Delights Cut It files are going to be available directly from Make the Cut. And so as you can see here, I got this pop-up window here, and I know that this is an item that I purchased by this little star here. And if you want to go to other things, you can just click on there. And I know it looks like I probably have all of them, but I don't. Trust me, I just happen to have all the ones that are showing up on this screen here right now. So we're going to go ahead and select Boy 5 here, and we're going to put him up on our screen. And I'm going to make him a little bit bigger. And I'm not going to do this like perfectly since I already have the other file, which is the one that I'm going to cut, but I'm going to go ahead and show you what the steps that I did to make this little boy. I'm going to put him over on this side of the screen because he's going to be on the front of my card, so the back of my card needs to be over here. And I'm going to close down that right there because I don't need that anymore. So now the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to my layers feature here, and I'm going to do a to each its own, just by using a right mouse click. But there's also here a new button that says layer option menus, and you can get to it from there as well. So it's just a matter of what you're used to, and then you'll see all the pieces that make up that little boy are in here. And I'm going down to the very last one, and I'm going to select him, and that is the image that I want to be working with to make my shaped card. So I'm going to actually go ahead and hide all of the layers and just open him up. So now we can see that is the very bottom layer. It's like a shadow of the whole little boy, and I'm going to use him to make this card. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to my basic shapes, and I've got it on the polygons, and I'm going to select a rectangle. Now normally when I do a shaped card, as you probably saw in my previous tutorial, is I like to use the rounded rectangle, because then it's like an easy quick place to see where you're supposed to score, so you don't have to worry about score marks. But sometimes you don't want to do that rounded card, so that's why I'm going to do this here, is I'm going to kind of get this lined up to where I want it. I'm just making sure that it lines up really nice here at the bottom. And I'm going to take snapping off, so it'll be a little bit easier for me to get that just where I want it. There we go, perfect. So now I've got this rectangle, and this is going to be the inside. This is the front of the card, and like right about here is where my score marks are going to be after I'm done with this. So first I'm going to do is I'm going to select my rectangle, and then I'm going to hold down the shift key, and I'm going to select the outline of the little boy, and I'm going to weld these two together using this icon down here, or you can do Control W, and we're going to go ahead and weld. So now I have that all welded. Now I need to make the back side of the card, so I'm going to do a copy and a paste in place. So now I've got two of these exact same images. I'm just going to unclick and then re-click just the top one so that I'm not accidentally doing this to both of them. And I'm going to mirror it right down here, and that's also a Control M. And so now, sorry if I'm whipping through this too fast. If you want better instructions, watch my other shaped card video. But I'm just moving this over so that it's on the back side of this card. I'm going to leave it a little bit overhang here. And if we zoom in, we can see that they are overlapping just very slightly. And I might even just make it even a little bit more. There we go. So now I'm going to go ahead and select both of these and weld. So now I've got my entire card there, front and back. But when you look at it like this, it's like, okay, well, where do you score it so that they lay perfectly? Especially with a shaped card like this, is you want all these little curves and everything to be perfectly on top of one another. So that's where I'm going to use some of the new Make the Cut features. Now, you can only find these in the 3.3 series, and the latest version is 3.3.3. So if you don't have that version, go to the Make the Cut forum, and there is a sticky at the top that will show you where to download it from. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to go to my text, and I've got the Arial font selected, and I like Arial font for this because we are going to use the capital letter I. And as you can see, the capital letter I doesn't have those serifs on the top and bottom. It's just one perfectly straight line. So I'm going to add a group of characters, and I've already got it in there. We're going to add the letter I. And where did it go? There it is. I'm going to bring it down here just so it's easier to see. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it longer. And actually, what I want to do to get this really nice is I've got my height is 5.1242. I'm going to make sure that my height on him is, oh, and it already is probably just about perfect, but I'm just going to make it a perfect 5 inches. I want it a little bit smaller than my card because I don't want those score marks to be right up at the edge of the card. I want to make sure that I've got nice corners where it gets folded. So that's why I like to make it a little bit shorter. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to a new feature down here under the Advanced menu, and that's that little wrench. And it's called Thin Paths, and you can also get to this with Control plus Shift plus K. And I'm going to go ahead and do that, and as you can see that now instead of making it a box, it's now just one straight line altogether. So now to get it to be dashed, I'm going to go select that from my layers, which I have right here, and where you have the color picker for the layers, if you notice down at the bottom, there's now a line style, and I'm going to select that, and we're going to choose a new line style, which is a dash. And what's really cool about this is that you can determine how long you want your dashes to be, and I like them to be actually kind of short because I like to use this with my scoring board, so I don't want to have the dashes perforate on the fold, so that when you actually give the card to someone, it's like all just, I don't like it that perforated. I just like to get, I kind of use it more for a guideline as to where I want to score on my scoring board. So I'm going to actually space these out, and you know what, for this demonstration I'm going to make them bigger just so you can see, but when I normally cut it, I cut it smaller. So I'm going to go ahead and make the dashes rather long, which is not something I would normally do. But so there you can see now, if we zoom in, you can see that that line has become dashes. So there's one, there's another, there's another. Okay, so now I'm going to zoom out a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move these dashes up here to approximately where I want it. You don't need to be precise with this, but I do like to make sure that that top score mark and the bottom score mark aren't like right at the edge here. That's the thing that I really just don't like to see. But now I've got my score mark selected, and I'm going to select the base of my card. And actually, you know what, I'm going to move this over a little bit so you can just see how this works like so nicely. So it's obviously not centered, and we're going to select both of those shapes, and we're going to go to our Align and Space menu, and you can get to this by just doing a right mouse click and align and to the vertical center. And now you can see that those score marks are right in the center of that card. So you don't have to worry about it not being perfect, because it is absolutely perfect. And I'm even going to just go ahead and select those, and I'm just going to move them down a little bit so that, you know, they're about where I want. With that kind of thing, I don't need to be precise, but I want to make sure that they are precisely in the center, going from left to right, so that when I go to cut this card out, you know, I'm going to be able to score it exactly where I need to score it at. So that is the card, and we're going to go ahead and show you all of this here. I'm going to switch over to our contrast mat so you can see. There's the card, and I'm going to change the background so you can see that the score marks are there. Do not weld or join or do anything with those score marks onto the base card, because you're going to end up with something you don't like to see, and I'll just show you here real quick. First off, if I weld, the score marks will completely go away. If I join, then what happens is the entire base, and let me change the color again so you can see, the entire base of the card becomes a dashed line, and it's not going to cut all the way through. So that's why you don't want to join them together. You want to leave them separate. I always keep them on separate layers, and that just, you know, gives you those nice clean cuts and with your score marks there. And I'm hoping that one day that Andy from Make the Cut will put in a feature to where we can have something like this be you know, drawn with the pen even, because that would make things like really nice. You know, you can, especially since I made these score marks rather large, you can make it so that you have just maybe 2 or 3 little ticks with the pen on there, and that's not going to get noticed at all when you have your final card put together. So that is our project here for today with Make the Cut, and showing off some of the newest features from version 3.3.3. This was an awesome Make the Cut update, and I will be sharing some more features in future Make the Cut videos, and in fact there's going to probably be a bonus video this month, so keep an eye out for that, and I will see you later. Thanks everybody.